Hello, you snacks. Welcome back. Hope you're hoeing out healthfully to those H2Os. That doesn't sound weird at all. Look, be distracted by my cat. Yes, there we go. Good job, Mr. Tibbles. Now, today we begin with this story. Little less than 12 hours old, titled, My Ex-Wife is Dating Again, Even Though She's Still in Love with Me. How do I show her that's a bad idea? And considering this is one of the top replies, you know it's a bumpy ride ahead. But to know what is going on, we actually have to go back 5 months ago. This is where it all started. In relationship advice, my wife left me for another man. How do I move on after giving up everything for her? Yes, you may find those two titles very confusing. He's been cheated on, yet he still cares about her to not move on? Well, it seems a lot can happen in 5 months, my friend. A week ago, my wife, Mary, told me she fell in love with another man. It was so unexpected, and I didn't see this coming. She was the person who taught me what it is like to be in love is. I was married to a woman, Amanda, who I loved, but I wasn't in love with. I was with my ex-wife for 8 years. We got together when I was 20. We have a kid who was turning 5 on Thanksgiving. But when I met Marie, I was married and happy, and she had a fiancé. Mary threw a wrench in that. We formed a connection I never thought possible. I could talk to Marie for hours all day. She was extremely beautiful, the best looking woman I've ever been with. One of the hardest things to do was tell Amanda I was in love with another woman. It crushed her. She refused to sign the divorce papers and demanded we go to therapy. Eventually, she gave in, but that was hard, seeing a woman I still care for be in so much pain. She doesn't talk to me unless it's about our kid, and that hurts. But I did all of that for Marie. I even moved across the country from Virginia to Seattle because Marie wanted to be on the West Coast. I don't get to see my little girl as much as I want because she's still in Virginia. Despite all that, she left. We had a great marriage, and I did so much to keep her happy, and it wasn't enough. No warning. Last week, I found out she's leaving. I'm depressed, and I've just been laying in bed. I don't know what to do. Now, with this sudden feeling of betrayal, it's understandable the OP gets such sympathy in the comments, like, well, now you know how Amanda felt. They leave you the way you get them. You both had an affair, and you were surprised she cheated on you with some other guy. You are not going to get much sympathy here. Pull up your big boy booties, get some therapy, and make better decisions in life. You have a child that needs a father, and you ditched her for your affair partner. Maybe think about her and not yourself so much. But people understand. As Professor Fussypants says here, he calls her pretty much every day. That's the same as parenting. Doing an obligatory phone chat is the exact same level of work as the practical effort. Yeah, see, because he came back in an edit after doing some typos to defend himself that, he calls her about every day. That's why he's a good father. Never mind literally going halfway across the country to no longer be around. But okay, here's also where maybe he's not completely an a-hole. Edit 3. I never cheated on Amanda. I broke things off before I did anything romantic with Marie because I respected Amanda too much. I still care for her. She was my friend and is still the mother of my child. So what do you think then? Technically didn't cheat? You can't exactly deny having a genuine chemistry and love for someone else. You fall out of love with someone. Is it really cruel of him to be upfront to Amanda about that? If anything, it feels like him divorcing her was probably the most respectful thing he could have done to Amanda at the time. Or do you think he's still an a-hole regardless? He shouldn't have gotten feelings in the first place. He should have felt the tinkling in his heart for Marie and ran to the other side of the country. Without her, this time. Though. So we don't hear anything from the gentleman until about a month later. I'm starting to finally heal. I probably won't date for a long time, but I'm starting to hang out with my friends more. I was very depressed for a month, and I still am. I've tried to rekindle my friendship with Amanda, but she's not interested. She told me she still loves me, even after everything, and she wishes she didn't. That hurt. She told me how I feel about Marie is how she felt when I left her. I reassured her that it wasn't her, it was me, and that Marie brought out something that I never felt before. I told her she was a great wife, and she was and will find someone who loves her the way I loved Marie. Oh, good save, man. Well done. Even after all that, she told me she doesn't want to talk to me unless it's about her daughter and has, ironically, been more cold. The good news is I started a new hobby. I've been going roller skating. We formed this amateur team, and the people there are really amazing. I've been keeping myself busy by doing all sorts of activities. So I'm glad this was the top comment. What is ironic about her being cold towards you? Well, it's just the fact that she became more cold after our interaction. You would have thought she would have warmed up after our interaction, but she's worse than before. So man basically says one slightly nice sentiment after recovering from a very bad one prior and thinks, oh, everything's fixed now. she has to be comfortable talking to me again because I am. There's a bit of back and forth about all this, that people consider him still an idiot about all this, and that he shouldn't be surprised at all that Amanda's reacting this way. To which he's responded in defense that he still considers her a good friend, someone he still genuinely cares about. But then ultimately trying to say that she's the bad one in this scenario because she's rejecting him and his friendship? Can we make a PSA, people, that you're allowed to feel rejected? What you're not allowed to do with rejection is use it as some sort of victimhood, as if you are owed something because you are a victim of rejection. There's a lot of gentlemen who definitely need to learn that sort of thing, and hell, let's be real, a lot of women too who definitely aren't used to being rejected in their lives. Now, old mate comes back about 2 weeks ago, asking us all, how long after a divorce to start dating again? I'm going through a really bad divorce where my wife cheated, and me and I planned on staying single for a while. The thing is, I'm starting to develop a crush on this person I go bowling with. I've been depressed and started doing activities to keep myself busy. It is the first time I've started having feelings for someone else. But what is holding me back is I still love my ex. I got a new job and will be moving from Seattle to Phoenix soon. Now, it doesn't seem that important for this story in particular, but it's because of the next post he made that makes everyone look at this and go, dude, what the frick is with this hypocrisy? Which was this one, the latest one, because now Amanda is dating again. But OP thinks, oh, well, you shouldn't do that because you still love me. You know, the very thing he was currently doing about dating. Quick summary at the start. I was with my first wife Amanda for 8 years and have a beautiful daughter. Unfortunately, during our marriage, I fell in love with someone else. That woman ended up cheating on and leaving me. I tried to maintain a friendship with Amanda because even though I realized I didn't love her, she was still my friend. Anyway, I was talking to a mutual friend and she told me Amanda put herself out there and went on a date and has been talking to this guy. After we got off the phone, I called Amanda, but she didn't answer. So I texted her, we need to talk. Amanda eventually calls back and I ask her about our daughter. Our daughter spent the weekend at my parents' house. She told me she will pick her up in the evening. I told her this is a serious question. I asked her, are you still in love with me? She said, unfortunately, with an attitude. I said, then why would you think it's a good idea to date right now? Well, she got angry and said that is none of my business. Well, I told her I'm coming to you as a friend. Dating while still in love with me is not going to help. She said her therapist said it's time to put herself out there. I told her that her therapist sounds like a horrible therapist. She told me to shut up. She said, do you know how much this impacted me? She said, I loved you and always tried to be a great wife for you and that wasn't good enough. I interrupted her on the phone and just said, Amanda! I then told her that I get it. When Marie left, my second wife, but I couldn't even finish my sentence before she said, you're a freaking prick. And she hung up and blocked me on Facebook. So I don't know. I'm trying to look out for her because she is the mother of my child, but... So that probably gives this comment a lot more context. Holy Schmidt, shut the frick up and mind your own damn business, dude. I think it's a great idea that she's trying to move on from you. You have absolutely no say in her life and she can handle herself. It is absolutely hateful for you to cheat on her, marry your affair partner, and then come waltzing in acting like you know better than her how to make her happy. If you are trying to look out for her, you would have kept it in your pants instead of sleeping around. Now, again, we should clarify here that he didn't cheat. Well, not physically, definitely emotionally, though. And I think we could say that either way, if Amanda feels like emotional infidelity is just as bad as physical infidelity, then yeah, Amanda has every right to feel this way. But I think for us on the sidelines, we should clarify that. Because again, not saying this guy is at all a saint in this regard of this post. Imagine trying to tell your ex, who you've just heartbroken, that you know better than them in their own like happiness and relationships. But anyway, again, he did leave her when he felt things for someone else. Not that that's a very healthy thing to do, but I think it's far more respectful than what most people end up doing. But anyway, I'll leave your thoughts on that one. Let's move on to the next story. Am I wrong for considering leaving my emotionally distant wife? My wife, 30, and I, 32 male, have been married for 6 years. We have 2 kids, aged 1 and 3. She's a stay-at-home mom and I work regular 9-to-5 job Monday to Friday. We take turns looking after the kids when I get home and on weekends. She does most of the house chores, but we do split the cooking. I appreciate all she's done for the kids and for the house. Of course, this story starts with a family dynamic that sounds like it's actually completely consensual and working really great for all of them. However, over the past year, since we had our second kid, she has become emotionally distant. And I find it hard to strike meaningful conversations with her. Our intimate life is great, but apart from that, she seems to not want to put in the mental effort to have any conversations. It's all really bland, and our whole life has become really monotonous. I fell in love with her because we used to have such great conversations and joke around, and emotionally meshed really well together. Now, it just isn't the case anymore. She doesn't even want to have fun, like go on dates or have movie nights. She does enjoy time together intimately, but that's about it. She doesn't even hang out with any of her friends and just has a sad demeanor around her. She's just stuck in the house all day. I do not enjoy living with her anymore. I fell in love with her personality and her joyful energy, and this is no longer the person who I fell in love with. Now, I have been hanging out with my sister, 29 female, more frequently over the last few months. My wife doesn't even care who I hang out with or if I come home late. It's like she's given up on the relationship altogether. Hanging out with my sister has been such a mental relief for me, as I have someone else I can talk to and have meaningful conversations with, someone I can laugh with, someone I can talk about life. We hang out a couple of days a week, and it's the part of the week I look most forward to. We plan out picnics, movie nights, dinners, brunches. My sister told me I should consider divorcing my wife because she isn't meeting my emotional needs, and I agree. I appreciate my wife for taking care of the house and the kids. I mean, if we do proceed with the divorce, I am fine with the house going to my wife. I would just move in with my sister temporarily till I find a new house. I do still plan on being actively involved in my kids' lives, as they are the two people I love most in the world. I am probably going to proceed with the divorce, but a part of me cannot just forget the years we've been together. It just makes us sad that it's come to this stage. This will come as a massive shock to my wife, and if I bring the divorce topic up, a small part of me still thinks I am wrong for doing this in a massive a-hole, but have I been left with any choice? I'm noticing a very
drastic lack of mentioning going to therapy.
I mean, damn, dude, it sounds like your partner is, depressed. Probably because they do the same monotonous stuff day in and day out with working at home. Now, look, to be fair, he probably has the same experience working Monday to Friday himself. But I'd really be curious as to how much her demeanor would change if you planned all this sort of picnics, brunches, movie nights and stuff with her the same way you do your sister. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if at this point she thinks you're cheating on her with your sister. Now, on the depression bout, some people urge that the wife should go see a doctor because considering it's only been a year postpartum, it's likely that, yeah, this is genuinely postpartum depression, as well as going on to bring up the whole fact that, hey, the in-sickness part of your in-sickness and health vows, this is it. This is your moment to shine, buddy. Dude's literally knocked her up and now is wanting to ditch after that she's still trying to recover from being knocked up. Anyone who is or can't list the many physical ordeals a human body goes through with pregnancy, do it. Understand what the sacrifice is to do it. There is a reason medical science invented C-sections and literal hospital stations, and it's very much because many people die from pregnancy. Kinda is unsurprising then why some people develop some huge mental issues after having children. It's not just an intense gym sesh, bros. It's a lot. Now, naturally, someone's bringing up the gender reversal. Apparently, there's a story that was just like this one, but everyone was urging OP to leave the abusive husband that didn't cheat, didn't drink, helps around the house. Oh, but he didn't plan dates. And look, he got downvoted, but hey, mate, I'm going to agree with you. If your partner's still clearly supportive in the household, but is not in the right mindset to actually be proactive enough to do these things, either you as a partner try doing it yourself, figure out what's going on with them, or just admit that you're selfish and only enjoyed them because they were giving you attention, But okay, majority rule is your wife probably has postpartum depression, go see a doctor about it, go to marriage counseling. Those are the two main things to be pointing out. So what does he do in the update just under a day ago? I've messed everything up and I am at a crossroads now, and I really need some advice on how to proceed. I do not know much about depression and did not consider the possibility that my wife was depressed. My wife is really sensitive, and I wanted to broach this topic as gently as possible last night. When my wife was done putting our 3-year-old to sleep, I asked her if she could come over to the couch and I'd give her a leg massage. She said she was extremely tired and wanted to go to sleep, so I asked her if I could just give her the massage on the bed while she's sleeping. She really liked that suggestion and thanked me. So while I was giving her the massage, I thanked her again for all she's doing for the kids. I told her I could not be more grateful to have her as a wife and as a mother to our kids. She got a bit emotional and thanked me too for working hard at my job and for providing for the family. I then asked her if there's a reason she stopped hanging out with her friends and I could stay at the house and take care of the kids if she wanted to go out for a bit. She said the kids are her primary priority and she just doesn't have the energy for any social interactions. I told her I'm a bit burnt out too and suggested if we could go to a couples therapy together where we could just talk about our life with a professional. She surprisingly seemed open to the suggestion, and I was really happy about it. However, here's where I messed up a lot. I still had some thoughts about separation and divorce, so I just told her I don't think I'm the best husband for her. This surprised her a lot, and I could notice her immediate shift in reaction. She told me I'm the best husband she could ever hope for. She then got up to kiss me, but I was a bit messed up mentally, so I just moved away from the kiss and rejected her. I've never done done this with her ever. She was extremely hurt. I could see it in her face, and this hurt me even more. She then asked if there's anything she needed to do to be a better wife. I really shouldn't have said what I said next. I asked her if she could be more happy and have a positive energy around her, and if we could have more engaging conversations. Oh. What are you doing? You were doing so well in this previous paragraph. You were giving her a massage. You were saying how grateful you were for her. Why did she do this? She then started crying a bit more and started apologizing a lot, and said she'll try to put on a more happy face from now on. I felt like an absolute monster when I saw her crying then, and I told her there was no reason to apologize, and it hurts me to see her like this. I then asked if we could bring my sister around to the house more often, so she could transmit her positive energy to my wife. Looking back, that was probably the worst thing I could have said, and I am still regretting saying that. She then excused herself to go to the restroom, and when she came back, I could see that she had probably cried a lot in the restroom. I kept apologizing for what I said, but she said there was no need to apologize, and she would try and be a better wife from now on. And this is the part where I'm personally cringing. Come morning, she's been having a positive attitude, but it looks forced, especially when she's smiling. I eavesdropped on her when she went to the restroom earlier today, and I could hear some sobbing. I really want to undo what I have done because it pains me to see her like this. I don't want to see her crying. We have been married for 6 years, but we've been together for more than a decade. We are each other's first and only love. I really don't want to see her like this. It's never been like this. I am at my sister's now and gave her the lowdown on what happened. She told me I should still divorce her because what my wife's experiencing can impact my mental health too. And that could affect my work, because I really need to go to work on a positive frame of mind as my work requires a lot of mental energy. I usually go to my sister for these big life decisions because I know she always wants the best for me. So clearly, sister is probably the worst person he should be speaking to right now. He's literally experienced his wife willing to mask all her feelings, put on a performance, a song and dance for his amusement, sacrificing her own happiness. And the sister perceives that as, oh, she's not worth it. You should leave her. She's bad for you. Don't bother with therapy. It's all about what you need and what you want. I mean, not to assume anything, but I've noticed the OP hasn't brought up his sister's partner at all. But okay, so far, he sounds redeemable. But that is until we come to the next paragraph where we learn just why this man does not deserve any sort of sympathy, despite his good work at the first start of the story. However, I am still conflicted because my wife supported me through my worst phases. When I fractured my leg a few years ago and was in a really bad mood for months, she was the one who stuck by me and was the light of my life when it felt like everything was crashing down. She supported me when I was doing my post-grad and got my master's. I can honestly say I wouldn't have gotten my master's degree without her support. There are numerous other examples where she's always been by my side and supported me. We are husband and wife. We're supposed to stick with each other for better or for worse, in sickness and in health. We took these vows. I don't want to desert her or leave her when I think about the countless instances she's always been by my side. Good, okay, don't leave her then. She's clearly worth it. However, what my sister has said is also sticking on my mind. No! Because when I come home from work, I really want a positive home atmosphere, as I can then perform better at work. However, at home, I am getting a depressive atmosphere. And even though my wife has been putting on a positive attitude this morning, I know she's faking it, and it makes me feel worse. I want my wife to be genuinely happy and fun so she can better experience life. I really don't know what to do anymore. If we do separate, I will support my wife to the fullest financially. So yeah, best advice is just to honestly maybe block the sister at this point and run into that therapy counseling room, the couples therapy room. Get in there. Run in there. I mean, add to the fact he couldn't even fathom at first that his wife might be depressed, and yet he still has all these stupid suggestions for how she can feel better? Bringing the sister around? Are you serious? The person who is telling you to, leave this woman, who clearly doesn't want this woman to be in your life anymore. You really think she's gonna bring a positive atmosphere? No, she's gonna just try and, she's gonna sabotage your relationship, bro. Anyway, guess it's not technically concluded. Fingers crossed this man, I guess, develops an extra brain cell? Though he seems to have more brain cells than this gentleman. I, 28 male, was manipulated into cheating on my wife, 28 female. How do we move forward through our marriage? Hey, Reddit, I'm going through a tough time in my marriage. It all started because recently I entered a depression. My wife and I both have very demanding jobs. Recently, I had a new project that had me working longer hours, and that is what started my depression. Now, going through my depression, I started confiding in my coworker about how I was feeling. I thought I could trust her as a friend, but she knew I was in a vulnerable state. She took advantage of my state, and this led to an affair. My wife found out, and we are going to counseling Monday, but this month our marriage is on the ropes. I've been trying to get her to understand my depression and how low my mental health was, but she doesn't want to hear it. I always love how briefly they just gloss over the affair and how it occurred. Just, oh, it happened. I don't know. I was like, I went to sleep and I woke up the next morning and I had an affair. Wow. Like, okay, own your cheating. It was a choice. Until you take responsibility for your actions and make the changes you need to make them to be a better person, you can't move forward. Your wife shouldn't just accept the lame excuse that you were manipulated to cheat. Honestly, you betrayed your marriage and she has every right to leave you. She probably should. Well, as someone who has dealt with depression for 20 years, I've never once had the symptom of, let me just check my notes here, cheating on my spouse. I have to agree with this bit too. Like, affairs are so much work. You gotta make an effort to flirt, to steal time with each other at the workplace, late nights, yada yada. I think it's a great example of how we don't really have willpower, we have why power. We're more motivated to do things when we better understand why we're doing them, when we're reminded why it's worth doing this. And clearly, OP was subconsciously motivated because why was he doing this? It was an escape from his mundane life, from the norm. It was exciting and new. And a little bit taboo. Which is why it's so stupid of him to say that, oh, he fell into this and yada yada yada. And also probably why it's so easy for him to do this extra stuff that, you know, the thing that affairs are. Is because he was just far more excited and motivated to do it instead of the other things, like just doing his job and trying to spice up his already established and won-over woman. Like, yeah, cheating wasn't one of the symptoms that came up with my doctors either. Are we just using mental health disorders as a catch-all excuse for terrible behavior these days? Do you think the cops won't give me a speeding ticket if I whip out my PTSD diagnosis?
Sir, do you know how fast you were going?
No, officer, I don't know maths.
Very well, have a nice day.
Now over to this strange development. Am I the a-hole for commenting on how inappropriate my guy friend's bulge was last night? Last night we went out to a group to have drinks and dance. In the group there was a guy named Aiden who was recently broken up with and has been doing a massive rework of his style and personality. Last night it looked like he had a White Claw can in his pants. I've seen him naked, that's a long story, and I know it wasn't natural. I kept my mouth shut for a long time, but whenever he would stand up, all the tables around us would gawk and stare at him. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, so at first I politely asked him what was going on with his outfit. He said he didn't know what I meant, and he said nothing. I let it go for a couple of minutes, but finally I said, Aiden, you stuffed your pants and it looks ridiculous and it would be fine if you were embarrassing yourself, but you're embarrassing all of us. My other friend said something like, speak for yourself, he's fine. Aiden said he honestly hadn't done anything. It was just new underwear that held things in a different spot. I said that was nonsense, and we all know there's not enough to make a big of a package as he was presenting. My other friend said that basically that I was being a massive hypocrite because I hate it when people comment on my outfits because of my very large chest. Well, I said it's totally different. When I wear a top that is revealing, I can't help if people, and people, usually guys, make me feel unsafe. Aiden was going out of his way to get attention. The first friend said that I was out of line and needed to stop. I asked them all if they really thought I was in the wrong, and they all said yes. I just stared at my phone the rest of the night and didn't say goodbye when they dropped me off. This is a situation where friendships may end because I feel so ganged up on, so I want to ask, am I the a-hole? I can totally see where she's going at with this perspective. She has a large chest. She can't stuff things into her bra to make it bigger. She's forced to have a physical anatomy that naturally attracts the wandering eye, while he is doing something to accentuate his features. He's purposely applying shape and form that would suggest something about his body. Is it really fair then to compare the two as equal situations? I mean, naturally you're gonna get, I bet you wear makeup. The dude is a clown, but women are always lying. Good 80% do not look the same in the morning. Hypothetically much? I wouldn't go as far as calling you the a-hole though, because it sounds like you're all a-holes. Damn, this guy's so much on the fence, he's literally creating a musical number on it. But others say yata, and also, there's a large amount of cognitive dissonance in your post. It sounds like you were in a public setting where people get to choose what they wear. Nobody should feel shame or get shamed for their clothing choice in a place like that. You get bothered by people who are fixated on your clothing choices. You treated your friend exactly how you don't like to be treated. You and your friend both get to choose what you want to wear, but it's okay for you to shame him? You don't want to be shamed either, obviously, so do you see how this is hypocritical? Now again, that is a great point, but what Opie is bringing up as an issue here is that he is enhancing his body in a way. I think a better example for Opie's perspective is, imagine a woman putting on a top or stuffing her bra in a way that makes her nipples look extremely perkier than they naturally would be. If you find that strange, then you'd have to understand where OP is coming from. But that also said, another comment lists the many examples of how women also enhance their assets. But okay, just because men don't usually do so, it doesn't mean they can't or shouldn't be allowed to. Is it unusual and potentially uncomfortable? Well, maybe, but still their choice. Just as it's a woman's choice to do the same. And ultimately, I think my stance on this is the same as I have to any woman who would genuinely just want to make their nipples look very perky in their shirt. 99% of the time, someone wears something that is attractive and alluring on themselves, not for the strangers, but for their own self as they look at their reflection in the mirror as they walk by. Hell, maybe even to get some approval from their friends. People they actually desire the approval of, you know? I think Opie needs to understand that maybe old mate here is wearing this because he wants to be able to look at himself and his reflection and be like, yeah, I actually got a nice body. Is it strange of him to choose his bulge of all places to do that? Sure. But I also find it strange when some women wear a cake full of makeup to make themselves feel beautiful about themselves. But I'm not going to shame them for doing that. They find themselves beautiful and all the power to them. My opinion does not matter. Oh, but folks, someone saved some of OP's comments before they fled. So responding to that top comment we read about how she's applying some cognitive dissonance here and is being a bit hypocritical, well, I'm made to feel unsafe when I make certain outfit choices. He was never unsafe. That's how I don't see myself as being a hypocrite. To which they responded, oh, there is a different levels of feeling unsafe. Look, I agree there is a difference in the power balance between men when they do it to women, but you say yourself that he is working on his personality and style after a breakup, and you adding to that emotionally by shaming him is just as problematic. Would you say it to another woman wearing a push-up bra? Well, no, as I've said a million times, with good evidence to back it up, it's totally different. Okay, well, believe it or not, men also feel unsafe sometimes. Well, not to the degree women do. It's not even close. I'm gonna just say this right now. If you're someone who tries to monopolize victimhood and insecurity, you have no right to proudly support feminism. You are not a feminist. True feminism is understanding that everyone is a victim of patriarchal values. The fact a man has to think his only value is the girth and impression of his genitalia? Like, come on. I have no doubt in my mind this OP understands how degrading it feels to only be valued by your boobs and vagine. Anyway, so people are quick to point out that all her friends already think she's the a-hole. Why is she even here in the first place? Well, I know they all said that, but there was obviously some groupthink going on there. I'm looking for a more nuanced opinion. Okay, here's the more nuanced opinion. Treat others how you want to be treated. If you think you treated Aiden in a reasonable way, you never get to complain again about people making similar comments towards the way you dress. Oh, it's so different. No, you are incorrect. Now, I think it is safe to say that you're not only a hypocrite, but sexist as well. Oh, I'm so the opposite. Yata, why did you find it necessary to comment at all? What was your goal in mind? Did you think he'd curl up on the floor and confess to having a small pee-pee? Would that have made you happy? You say you've been made to feel unsafe when wearing certain outfits. Who is making you feel that way? If it's your friends, you should examine the issue of getting better friends. You are the only one who chooses what you wear. If wearing certain things make you feel unsafe, why not wear something you feel more comfortable in? I'm not judging what you wear at all, but your reaction to others while wearing it. I'm very confused as to what you were trying to accomplish with your attack on Aiden. I feel that's a bit of a gray line there. I get they're trying to imply this whole argument of feeling unsafe is based on the idea that, like, are your friends making you feel unsafe when you wear those clothes? Or are strangers who, you know, they're strangers. They're not the people who you trust and rely on in times of need. But yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not sure about this whole argument of you are the only one who chooses what you wear. Like, I get what they're saying there, but I feel like that's devaluing the importance of respecting other people's bodies at the same time, because you could also just flip that onto the guy here and how he's choosing to wear something that accentuates his bulge, and like, yeah, naturally people are going to notice it and possibly find it uncomfortable to be like in their face like that. Anyway, she continues, I wasn't attacking him. He was never unsafe, and I should be able to wear whatever I want without people making me feel unsafe or judging me. Because of the double standard, I could comment all day long and he'd never be unsafe. Okay, so you hate when people point out your large chest. chest. Totally fair. But you then went on out of your way to point out your friend's pants? No, it's not completely different as you say. Honestly, the fact that all of your friends think you're in the wrong should be a clue. And look, yeah, it continues that back and forth of that she wasn't actually commenting on his body, she was commenting on what he was doing to his body. Well, doing to create a facade of his body. Now, some would like to argue with it, okay, well, when people are commenting on your chest, they're just commenting on your shirt, because it's your shirt that's doing that to your chest. It's making it look more large and cleavagey. I'm sure you wouldn't look as busty if you didn't have something holding up your chesticles, you know? Offering an example, like imagine if your girlfriends were in a really insecure place and tried to make it look like they had big boobs. Would you have made a big deal about that as well and put her down in front of everyone? And oh my god, ladies and gentlemen, the moment of proof that holy smokes, here I am thinking it's just men who don't know the other gender's like anatomy and how it works. It's 100% different. Boobs can change size and look based on everything from time of the month to color of the shirt. Guys don't change like that. This woman genuinely think we just all walk around with full mast. We've just all learned to tuck it like drag queens, you know? That's why you never see them poking out all the time. So yeah, look, it never ends. They clearly just can't seem to see how they are just genuinely a hypocrite and sexist in this situation. But I am open to your thoughts here because I do see there's some aspects of this argument that I feel people are hating on her based on one thing and like they're extrapolating it to be an entire judgment of everything about her. I don't know. Let me know what you think. And for now, I think we'll end things there. I love your face. Remember to drink water. And until next time, bye-bye.